So it's been months now since Donald Trump was voted out of office, and things in the blogging world have not been good. You're still not on Twitter. For the first few months, we tried to write about post-President Trump, like how no one wants to go to his club anymore, or they got rid of his Diet Coke button. It's like phantom limb syndrome. I can still feel his Twitter even though it's not there. How do you venomously support a politician? Sure, some of us have written articles about how his wife's a rocket, or his son's actually a pretty sweet dude. Didn't do shit. You heard any scoop or anything like that? Nothing? I don't know, is this how people who hated Obama felt after Obama was done? Like, can I talk to them? Who was someone who hated Obama? Actually, I'll tell you someone who hated Obama. There I go again. On top of that, I have to basically slide out of all the stuff I used to pretend to care about. If I blame it on Trump, no one cares. If I blame it on Biden, I'm like a hypocrite or something. Maybe I could lean into being the stay-at-home guy or something. I feel like my whole body's itching. At one point, I even tried rejuvenating some other orange people. And yeah, I know, I was writing articles about how I didn't want to get out of bed because of Donald Trump. Turns out he's the reason I wanted to get out of bed. Not a single thank you for your service. Big surprise. Maybe he left some racism in here or something? Sometimes.
It's funny because it's true, but hey, there's also white people to hate on. That's pretty popular today. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Okadowski of WeAreChange.org. Holy cow, are things getting serious in Minnesota and all over the United States with a major new law just passed in Florida, a big underreported event that just happened in Minneapolis that is setting this country on a trajectory that is not looking too good. And before we get into that, plus a lot more, including a lot of international news, more disgusting news coming out of Canada. The clip that we began this broadcast with was from a Canadian refugee, Ryan Long, who I would definitely recommend you subscribe to his channel. The full video that we played a short clip out of will be linked in the description below for your viewing enjoyment. Now, just jumping into some of the important international news happening right now, we have new news that Russia is building up its military forces in Crimea to larger levels than previously thought. Also, NATO and the United States are doing similar actions also in that region. Also, just recently, China just announced that cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin, are, quote, investment alternatives, which is a very significant change from the Chinese government cracking down on cryptocurrencies before. Since, you know, the Chinese government loves to track, trace, and database everyone, just like the United States. In China, they do it a little bit more efficiently, as now they just launched a new application that will allow citizens to report others for, quote, expressing, quote, mistaken opinions. Yeah, that's soon coming to the United States, but the cryptocurrency announcement will, of course, have larger economic and geopolitical ramifications that are far too complex to talk about just in this one video. In related track, trace, and database totalitarian big governments that abuse its citizen news, we of course have this video coming out of Canada that shows Canadian police officers roughing up an elderly man because of the first initial reports saying that he was trying to practice his religion. Again, we haven't been able to independently verify, but this footage goes along with the other utterly despotic behavior by the Canadian authorities that are taking out their aggression on citizens who dare to speak out against them, who dare to practice their religion, or even hold a demonstration expressing political differences in that country. And if you're new to this channel, you're probably wondering, hey, why doesn't these acts of police brutality make it into the Western mainstream media? Why isn't there large conversations? Why aren't these videos going viral? Why aren't these videos trending? Why aren't they in the algorithm? Why aren't they in the timeline? Why did I have some random person send me this video to actually find out about it? Well, it's because it's not a part of the narrative. A narrative that, of course, we very heavily question here on this independent media organization, which a lot of other mainline blue checkmark individuals do not dare to do so. And while less and less people actually stand up against the true totalitarian forces and powers that keep getting stronger by the day, what do some journalists do? Well, they're deciding to stalk, intimidate, and harass average, everyday people that decided to donate to a legal campaign. Specifically, $10 to a legal defense fund that we can't even mention, that we can't even talk about on this independent media channel here on YouTube. Twitter, for some reason, hasn't acted on this clear act of doxing and harassment for some reason. But again, that doesn't really gel well with the narrative and agenda that they're trying to push. Something, of course, that we heavily question here on wearechange.org. And if you like what we're doing and want to support us, don't forget to check out some of the companies that we work with, that we personally trust, and that I use myself. One of them is Pro One. It's the new name for the Pro Pure water filtration company that helps you get rid of heavy metals, pesticides, microplastics, pharmaceuticals from your water, which absolutely have been wreaking havoc on the environment, on many animal species, and of course humanity itself. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely not a fan of any microplastics. You definitely shouldn't be going to Walmart, Amazon, or Costco and getting big, huge cases of water surrounded by plastic, lugging that around when you could just get a water filter that, if ish hits the fan, you'll have a great way of being able to generate water for yourself and your loved ones at any time just by being able to filter it. They have shower filters, they have entire house unit filters, they have personal filters. I use a lot of their products. I like them. I think you will too. If you're interested, click the link down in the description below. Also, yesterday, I did not release a video on LukeUncensored.com. That's because I was giving a speech at the RSD Miami Summit. Videos from that will be coming out shortly, and even in addition to the normal videos that I do on LukeUncensored.com, I have a very fun flow of consciousness video coming out from this event, which I think you guys will really like. Also, in today's Uncensored video, we're going to get into some really deep stuff that, of course, we can't even talk about on this platform. Check out today's video. It's definitely going to be worth checking out. Now, in the making of this video, we are hearing the last closing arguments in the Derek Chauvin trial. That, of course, is leaving many Americans on edge, expecting there to be massive civil unrest as a result of. Not only does the fate of this man hang in the balance, it's also the fate of this country, as many people expect things to get very serious. And already, they have gotten serious in Minneapolis, where National Guard troops who were brought in to help police officers protect the city from violent attacks were attacked themselves in a drive-by shooting that injured 2 guardsmen. Now, you would think this would be bigger national news than it is, but I haven't seen it reported on by the big channels so far at all. Yes, what you're looking at is literally the bullet hole as the National Guard took fire from a drive-by shooting. I honestly feel like if this was anybody else, any other situation, especially if this was a Trump supporter shooting at the National Guard, that this would be non-stop national headline news. But all I'm seeing is some local news reports of this. And because of that fact, and because of the larger obfuscation of the reality of the situation and the severity of it, I think a lot of people are absolutely unaware and totally unprepared for what could happen next. Now, closing arguments are being made now. The jury will now be deciding whether Derek Chauvin is guilty or not guilty on the charges that he was brought upon on. They will deliberate. Their deliberation could take a few hours, a few days, maybe even longer from there. We don't know how long it will take them to deliberate all of the circumstances surrounding this case, but many politicians like Maxine Waters are already escalating the situation. Joe Biden even came out and said a coherent sentence saying that he, quote, fears the verdict will, quote, inflame racial tensions and deepen the crisis of confidence in cops. Additionally, also saying, quote, Lord only knows what will happen with this verdict, and with some politicians and mainstream media figures fanning the flames for violence. It's important to note that in places like Portland, it's already unfolding. It unfolded in many places all throughout the United States last summer, with, of course, it going mainly underreported as the mainstream media tried to paint these events as mostly peaceful when they led to dozens of people dying, many people losing their property, many assaults and attacks that have yet to see any form of justice. A lot of people are predicting also a very similarly hot summer, just like last year. All of this as journalists who are trying to report on it are seeing a surge of assaults made on them. In Florida, the governor just signed a new anti-riot bill that will literally give civil immunity to people who drive into protesters who are forcibly blocking a road. The bill also increases criminal penalties for people committing crimes during riots, as of course the Florida government is making its stance on the issue very clear. It is the state that I am currently residing in, and this new bill that just came into law, I think will definitely have some effects when it comes to the events that everyone is waiting for. Now, with these shootings and with these actions, police officers all throughout the country are mobilizing, arming themselves with technocratic $70,000 robots just like the NYPD did. And I think it's fair to say that there definitely will be some sort of clash regardless of the decision, which will spur on some violence that in my opinion many politicians will use as a way to justify a bigger power grab and to push the divide and conquer agenda that will make people attack each other on trivial differences rather than actually deal with the current circumstance of situations that they have been dealt with by some of these ruling elites. Again, I have a very nuanced perspective on this particular issue. I'm not pro-BLM, I'm not pro-cop, I'm pro keeping the peace and making sure that the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution doesn't play out like many ruling elites want it to play out, with people's participation in it because of the fear psychological propaganda being induced to them by social media and, of course, the mainstream media. I'm not with that. If you're not with that, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever. Even random people that you may not even know or talk to that much, send them this video. Let me know what they say in response to you in the comment section below. Obviously, we're living in very tumultuous times. I hope you guys are preparing. I hope you guys are heeding some of the advice that I've been giving. I've been talking a lot about that on LukeUncensored.com. We got a crazier story that we're going to get into that also is absolutely disturbing. LukeUncensored.com. Join me there doing a second video right now as we speak. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. Not as we speak, but like literally right after I'm done speaking, I'm going to shoot this next video and look forward to seeing you guys there.